Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, and I'm here in Buckhead about to go train my next client. But before I do so, I've set aside some time to bring on a new guest from Montgomery, Alabama. Before I tell you who she is, I'd like to ask everyone out there, please make sure to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, this will be the very first time I get to meet virtually on here, GoTarryn TV, Ms. Gini Thomas from Montgomery, Alabama. And she was referred to me from my good buddy over here in Buckhead at the Family Life Center, Mr. Christopher Todd Stewart. He told me, you got to get Gini on and you got to interview her. She's an amazing lady. I have checked out her videos and her Instagram and social media online, and definitely concur with my good buddy Christopher that he's right. She is definitely an awesome individual and definitely embodies health and fitness, and I've just been very impressed with what I've seen with her. So I can't wait to virtually meet her for the first time here and interview her and pick her brain and kind of just learn her story and who she is. So this is going to be so exciting. I'm so pleased and happy to bring her here to you. And again, we'll be having her here momentarily. And let me remind everyone that with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back in a second. First time that we get to meet and talk to Ms. Gini Thomas out in Montgomery, Alabama. Gini, how are you doing out there today?
I'm great. How about you?
Good, thank you. And again, really appreciate your time being able to come out here and talk to us on this health and wellness video blog. And one of the first things I wanted to tell you was that a mutual friend of ours on social media on Facebook, Christopher Todd Stewart, put us in contact. Yeah, he told me, in fact, if he's watching out there right now, he told me that I needed to get you on as soon as possible. As you know, probably Chris, his condition of being below knee amputation, and actually where he comes to work out at the gym here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we're at, he actually has been here for quite a while, and it's just phenomenal. It's amazing what he's able to do. And, you know, Gini, I've been watching your channel and checking out your videos, and it's just incredible as well to, you know, just be able to do the workouts and live a healthy lifestyle. And it seems like fitness is very much a passion of yours. I'll make that strong assumption. And so just, I guess the first question to you right off the bat, please just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing out there in Montgomery, please.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Montgomery. I met my husband in 2007. We got married in 2011, and then 17 months later, we were on a motorcycle, just going about an hour and a half away, and thought we were taking the safe route. We had just passed under the interstate, and a guy came off from a side road, ran a stop sign, and T-boned us.
Oh, wow.
I lost my husband immediately, and my right leg was broken in just about all the places that you can break it. I had a lot of open fractures. It was a mess. I passed out in the ambulance and woke up a week later and still had my leg, to my surprise. It was just full of hardware. And the surgeons told me that I had about a 60% chance of it being functional again, but it would just take a lot of surgeries. So, I mean, I felt kind of hopeful about that. So I went with surgeries for the first 3 years trying to fix things, and I never really was functional. I was in constant pain. I had a couple of infections over that time, and so I made the choice in 2015 to have it amputated above the knee. And I did pretty well with a socket prosthesis for about 2 years, and then the hardware that was still in my femur started causing some problems. So I had to have surgery to have that removed. And then my femur started having heterotopic ossification at the severed end. So basically that's like a bone spur that grows at the end. Very sharp, and trying to put that inside of a hard socket and bear weight on it was just like a knife cutting into muscle. So I had that revised several times, but it would always grow back within 3 to 6 months. and each revision was making my limb shorter and shorter, which
Mm.
in turn makes it kind of difficult to fit a socket on a shorter limb. And then still having those bone spurs growing, I just quit trying with sockets for a while. So
Wow.
I had about 3 years where I was just on crutches.
Oh, wow.
I mean, still getting around, still live by myself, still doing everything pretty much on my own, but just on crutches. And then osseointegration was FDA approved in the United States in 2020. And there are 2 surgeons at Emory in Atlanta that are actually doing the osseointegration now with the Integrum Opera implant. That's the implant that I have. So I started the process early 2021, going towards that, and it's done in 2 stages. If you're familiar with how dental implants work at all, it's the same idea. They go in and they put an anchor in the bone, let that heal a little bit, come back a few months later, and then place the abutment, the screw that sticks out of the limb that the prosthesis will attach to.
Wow.
So I had the first surgery in October of 2021, and then I had the second one to place the abutment at the end of January of this year. And it's kind of a long recovery process. It's been a little bit longer for me because I did not walk for 3 years and I had so much atrophy on the right side. So it's been kind of a fine line to walk, trying to build muscle without irritating the joint so much, because the hip joint was really angry. It was unsupported essentially without all the muscle around it. So when I started applying weight to it, it was really just bone crushing into bone. So it was tough to find exercises to start building the muscle up again without causing a whole lot of pain.
Wow.
But it's been really good for me so far. I have not had any of the infections that some people deal with, knock on wood. But I've been happy with it so far. I'm walking now with a cane, hoping to ditch the cane in the next few months, but still that's a lot better than crutches all day, every day.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Gini, you covered a lot there. What a fascinating story. It's incredible. It's just amazing what you went through, and to just so well adjusted, be able to overcome this. It's a true story of inspiration and overcoming challenges. And it seems like, again, just for it to be so recent too. I'm sure, as you mentioned, with the recent surgery and learning how to not only walk, but also just figure out and determine some exercises and workouts and adjusting around them a little differently. So, that's great that, you're able to be able to do the exercises and workouts. Are there any favorite movements or workouts that you like and prefer, whether it be strength training or cardio, in terms of what you've learned and developed to get around this in the last couple of years?
Sure. I mean, I think the most important thing for me has always been core strength, just as that factors so much into your balance.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially for all the years that I was just on crutches and doing things on one leg. If you don't have core strength, you're not get around very well.
Right, exactly.
Definitely always working on core strength. My physical therapist, after these last surgeries, has been great, showing me exercises with TheraBands, so that I can still actually work on the muscles around my joint without having to put a whole lot of weight through it.
Good.
That's been really helpful. For cardio, I have just a stationary bike. One thing with osseointegration, they want to give the bone a chance to heal fully around the implant, so they don't recommend doing anything high impact for at least the first 2 years.
Okay, yeah.
Running is out of the question. Jump rope out of the question. Just nothing that's really going to put any excessive force on the bone. So yeah, cardio is mostly the bike. I do swim a lot too. My parents have a pool, and
cool.
Love to get in the pool and swim. That's a great exercise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's excellent as well too. Here's a question I have. I was just thinking of Gini, like, compared to before all of this and the accident, and what you've gone through, how would you say your health and fitness level compared, for example,
did you always work out as hard as you do now, or is it the opposite that you found yourself working out harder? How would you answer that in terms of if you had to compare, how your level of workout has changed, if it has?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been fairly fit. I was an athlete in high school, played volleyball, basketball. I used to go to the gym a few times a week and run and do a little bit with weights. I've always loved doing yoga. I think I'm definitely more dedicated now just because I have the motivation to walk as best as I can, as well as, I mean, just keeping my body healthy overall for the longevity of trying to be active throughout my life as an amputee. I mean, you're using muscles that you wouldn't normally use and applying pressure in different places. So, I mean, I definitely want to maintain a healthy body as long as I can so that I can continue to walk and be active as much as possible. So yeah, just a little more motivated now, I would say.
Good. Yeah. That's excellent, because I'm thinking about this, and I'm sure, as you already know, you were already in very good shape. And so for the average person, or in this country in America, who probably doesn't exercise and, doesn't have a regimen where they're living health conscious, if they were to go through something that you have, most likely, I'm strongly assuming that they would be very much even more, kind of through a harder challenge of recovery, but also in the mindset too, because I'm just thinking that, with how determined you are to, see this adversity through and really do such a great job of just facing it head on. I think a lot of other people might either quit or just give up and, just be very frustrated and such. But it seems like you would be I'm sure you've been told this, but a perfect role model to go out and guest speak and talk to people who maybe go through something similar, as far as giving them hope and, again, inspiration. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I actually did work for a prosthetics clinic for a little while in Athens, Georgia, when I initially was fit with my socket prosthesis. And part of my job was meeting with patients before they even had an amputation, if
really?
there was time in there to do that. But it's so important to have those questions answered ahead of time. I mean, really kind of the old school way of doing things was you have an amputation, you sit around and heal forever. It can be a few months before you even meet with a prosthetics team. And during those few months, your mind is just spinning with questions. What's my life going to be? I probably can't do this anymore. And it can be a really, really dark time. So I think it's really important to have that meeting ahead of time with somebody who's been through the process, so you can have those questions answered and you do have that point of contact as you're healing. Does this look right? I'm feeling this today. Is this what you experienced? Is this normal? So yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of that, and especially on social media as well. I mean, I'm very, very open about the whole process. So I'm always happy to answer questions and provide support in any way that I can. It was important for me to have that, and I certainly would want other people to have the same opportunity.
Yeah, I think you're custom fit to do that. How about, Gini, was someone there for you when this happened? Were you able to learn from someone and get their shared experiences similarly?
Yeah, so I actually met a few amputees before I had my surgery scheduled, and then the same day as my amputation, as soon as I was out of surgery, I met Jared Wallace. He's a Paralympic track athlete. He lives in Georgia as well. He's in Athens.
Oh, cool. Wow.
He's a below the knee amputee who had compartment syndrome, and that led to his amputation. But yeah, I mean, different experience, him being a male and a below the knee, but still somebody who can show this isn't the end of the world for you.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things you can still do. A little while after I became an amputee, I got in touch with another athlete, Lacey Henderson, so female above the knee amputee who lost her limb to cancer when she was a kid. But she had so much insight, and anytime I'm having a problem or a question about how something works, she's one of my go-to people to say, what do you do when this happens? How do you deal with this? So yeah, I mean, the amputee community is really pretty big. It's just not always easy to find people because there's still kind of a stigma around it, and people don't like the way that they look. But I think that's changing as the world becomes more body positive in general.
Yeah.
And trying to celebrate differences. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but there's amputees everywhere.
Yeah, you know, even like I said earlier, I referenced the gym here in Atlanta, Georgia, where that Christopher Stewart comes in. There's been other amputees that I've seen, one above the knee, and he does a lot of swimming, and then back to, you know, Christopher, he does a lot as far as weight training goes,
Yeah.
and is in there exercising, working out, and he's also very open about kind of just, you know, because just talking about, you know, the backstory and just you know, how it happened and how he manages through and everything. But he, like I said, I mean, that guy, he's been an awesome inspiration to me and others. And again, I just commend how I think that's great to be able to go through something like that and relate to others, but also be able to teach and kind of share your experiences to help others, because it's like you said, the whole body image thing. So many people, they seem like they're fast, you know, always kind of centered around that, but it does seem like we're kind of progressing and evolving in terms of you know, generally just all of us are different and we accept with, you know, what we go through. What other, Gini, challenges would you say? You know, I mentioned a few minutes ago the whole mindset of it, the mental part of going through something like this, but psychologically, I'm sure you found yourself struggling with some, you know, challenges of, you know, learning new things and how to do this. But what, I guess, both physical and psychological challenges did you, you know, think that were pretty big obstacles to overcome through this whole process?
Yeah, I mean, I think psychologically, I never really cared about losing the leg just because I had a different story leading up to it. I mean, losing my husband was the worst thing ever. So in my mind, a leg didn't really matter.
Good point. Right. Exactly.
I
Puts
just
things in
wanted to
perspective, doesn't it?
It does. And I mean, all I wanted to do was be functional. I mean, I didn't really care what it looked like as long as I wasn't in constant pain and I could keep moving with life. Physically, it's just been challenging to keep myself in shape, honestly, and figure out how to adapt different exercises in order to do that. And then figuring out how to traverse different terrain, like when I was on crutches, and not everywhere is flat and smooth. You might go through a gravel parking lot. You've got to go up and down hills. So it's a lot of trial and error. Fortunately, I'm headstrong. A lot of people would say that I'm stubborn. But if
that could be a good thing. That's good.
I mean, if there's something that I want to do, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I tell people out all the time, as an amputee, you can still do anything that you want to do. You just might have to figure out a really different way of doing it, and it might take you 3, 4, 5 times as long as somebody with their own limbs. But if you really want to do it, you can find a way.
Yeah, you're so right. You know, you're preaching to the choir on that, Gini, because as a personal trainer by trade, I tell my clients what you just said. A big part of the emphasis that I focus on my clients, whenever they're talking about, oh, I'm still 30 pounds overweight, or, oh, I just can't get this belly fat off, I can't do anything, I'm getting older. And I always just turn it around and say, well, let's focus on what you have. You know, let's take a look at, you know, what have you done? You've lost 10 pounds. That's significant. You know, you've lost a couple of inches, or you've dropped a few sizes here. And I try to flip that around so much. It's kind of like the, you know, old cliche of the half glass full scenario, and just kind of preaching about that and telling them to, you know, focus on positivity, because I'm a big believer, that, you know, the self-fulfilling prophecy kind of, you know, like you just said, you can do it, and it just depends not if, but how you're going to get there. And so again, I commend you. I can't tell you how much, you know, I'm just so impressed with how you're so mature and able to, you know, do that. And what you said earlier too about, you know, about losing the leg. Okay, you know, that was a quick adjustment to, you know, get through and just move forward. But you know, as far as the support system goes too, you know, you mentioned about talking to some of the other people that had helped you, but I think that would probably be important too, right? Just to have some type of support system around you.
Absolutely, it is. I've got great family. My parents have been amazing after all of my surgeries. I've had 20 surgeries on my leg at this point.
Wow.
I mean, they've always been available to take me to and from appointments and help me through recovery. I have great friends in Georgia and in Atlanta. So no matter where I have surgery, somebody's always there begging to help in any way. So I'm really, really fortunate to be surrounded by good people who just want to see me succeed. And they don't let me stay down on myself either. If I'm having a rough few days and they don't hear from me, they're checking on me to pick me up. So yeah, it's crucial to have that support system and the people who won't let you fail no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. That's so awesome, to have such a great group of family and friends to see you through it. And 20 surgeries, my goodness, that's incredible too, just to have such an attitude to get through that and move and just not quit, like you said, not fail.
Right.
Most people, I'm thinking on average, would at that point, I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh gosh, like I can't do it. I just can't get through this. But it's definitely that willpower that you have, for sure, that I think that's so hard, to identify for some people to be able to, even possibly fathom that. But so you, Jenny, obviously spent a lot of time in Atlanta and Athens, as you mentioned too. But your surgeries, for the most part, living in Montgomery, where is there somewhere mostly that you've been, or is it just different various hospitals, or where is it usually?
Right after my wreck, which happened in Montgomery, I was taken to Baptist South. So our biggest hospital here.
Okay.
And they weren't fully equipped to deal with everything. They kind of stabilized me and put me in an ambulance to go up to UAB in Birmingham the next day. So my orthopedic trauma surgeon, Dr. Will Min, he's actually in Georgia now, but I had a lot of surgeries with him at UAB. And then when he moved over to Gwinnett Medical, which I think is Northside now.
Okay. Right. Yeah. That sounds
I actually, I followed him. I did have a couple of surgeries with other orthopedic surgeons, but it just wasn't the same experience. And if you're spending that much time with somebody and you already have that history, I feel totally worth it to travel to them. So at least he was only a few hours away. So yeah, I mean, most of my surgeries have been either in Birmingham or the Atlanta area. Dr. Min actually did most of my surgeries over the years. And the last two surgeries were done at Emory, and Dr. Nicholas Reimer is the one who did the first osseointegration surgery. And then Dr. Rob Fang is the plastic surgeon who did the second surgery. So that's who I follow up with. I also did my physical therapy in Georgia just because I wanted somebody who was experienced in working with amputees and who had seen osseointegration before. So I went to Northside Forsyth for my physical therapy and worked with Samantha Reenders, incredible physical therapist. I could not do anything that I'm doing without her help. She's
That's
been
awesome.
And I get my prosthetics care in Atlanta as well. I go to ProCare Prosthetics and see Scott Annis. He actually trained out in California under one of the people who is like the leader of Integrum, the implant manufacturer. So he's very well versed in osseointegration and all issues that might arise.
Jeannie, it sounds like you're so fortunate with being able to, all those people you just named, have run into them and be able to have, the opportunity to work with them, because I can't think of how important that's been for you too, with your recovery.
It is. The whole team is important as an amputee. I mean, you've got to have a good relationship with your surgeon, prosthetist, and physical therapist, and they all kind of have to be able to communicate as well.
That's a good point.
Because one person can't always fix everything. So, you just have to have the whole collaborative effort. It's incredibly important to have everybody on board.
Because a lot of times, they might have different philosophies or not see in alignment, but it sounds like in your case, everybody's been fully aligned and very supportive of your vision.
I really do have a good team. I am quite fortunate, as you said.
That's awesome. So again, Jeannie, that's incredible what you just told me. I mean, I'm just so, as I mentioned, impressed with what you've been able to do. And aside that now, what fun personal things do you have going on in your life? What do you like to do for fun? What's your hobbies and what gives you enjoyment?
I love to be outside, and this time of year is absolutely perfect for that.
Definitely.
I have a 14-year-old Australian cattle dog who keeps me busy. I like to do things with him. I love to go to the beach. I just went to the beach over the weekend and walked in the sand without crutches for the first time in many years.
Congratulations.
That was a huge accomplishment. It felt really, really nice.
Phenomenal.
Love going to sporting events, to concerts, trying new things. I started trying to rock climb a few months ago, and I'm headed back to do it again next week. So pretty excited about that. Yeah, just whatever I can to stay active, pretty much.
That is so cool, Gini. Again, how great is it that everything you just listed off that you can do, and for example, rock climbing, something I've never done, probably won't have an opportunity, but to be able to just do everything and enjoy life and kind of adjust to it, I think that's just so grateful. Very appreciative.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point, right? To keep living, live well.
Yeah, and also what you said too, Jeannie, earlier about just trying to be the healthiest that you can be, and just really motivated to stay that way, because my job as a personal trainer, I'm trying to push people to do that. And as you know, I mean, this is cliche, but I can't change them. I can't make them do it, but we can only change ourselves. And obviously, whether you were born with that or your upbringing and parents or what have you, something definitely made you not give up and just push forward and still be able to do everything you're doing right now too. Yeah, that's so awesome, Jeannie. And also I wanted to ask you this too before I forget. With coming out to Atlanta, how did you and Christopher meet? I'm assuming, have you met him in person? Have you been to the gym here?
So I met him at it was actually a conference for physical therapists doing continuing education hours.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And my physical therapist presented my case.
Okay.
And then there was a day in that conference that was geared more towards the amputee community, and just kind of gathering information. And, there was a gait training course, and there was an adaptive athletics course, and just different things like that. So he was there on the community day, and I got to meet him. Great guy, super nice.
Very, very good guy. This was in Atlanta, I assume.
It was at a Philadelphia College of Medicine, in Swanee. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. The north side of Atlanta. Yeah. If I don't know if he mentioned, but he lives in the Buckhead area where that gym is. And if you ever get the opportunity, let me know, please, when you're back in Atlanta. I would love to do one of these in person with you, and also give you a tour of the gym. I'm actually sitting out in the parking lot here. You can kind of see it if I point it. That's the gym that's here where we meet. I don't know if he's ever told you about it, but he literally lives right across the street from here. So he walks here. And I mean, that's how we met, was here. But he's also, I used to teach at Georgia State University, and he would come in and guest speak and speak about his condition called neurofibromatosis 2. Yeah. And it was great education for me. I mean, I'm learning so much, not only from you, but from him, because of things that, again, I just love that, being able to acquire that knowledge. And so that way, if I ever run into other people, in your case as well, I can definitely, hopefully, try to relate and give them that support that you do. But Jeannie, I can't believe this half hour flew by. I predicted that. I knew it was going to go by so quickly. I want to definitely do this again with you, please. And seriously, let me know next time you're out this way in Atlanta, because it sounds like it's an often frequent trip for you. But I want to wish you the best of luck. And before I let you go, I always like to reserve the last minute or two here. Just go ahead and please plug any type of contact information, social media, what have you. And right now you can go ahead and do that. And when we fade to black, I'll also put that on the screen so people can pause their video and do it. But I'll go ahead and let you plug it now, please.
Sure. So on Instagram, I am Slim Gini, SLIMGINI. On Facebook, Ginny Thomas. On TikTok, Ginny Thomas. That's where you can find me. Enjoy. Easy. I try to have fun with it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Perfect. That's very, very good. Well, Jeannie, I got to tell you, this was a true pleasure and a true treat for myself. I really appreciate your time. I want to thank you. And I'm so excited to not only meet you as a colleague, as a friend, and be able to welcome you back on for some of these future, because I think we just scratched the surface. There's so much more we can really jump into.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to get your perspective on so many different topics. So As we fade to black, Gini, again, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy out there in Montgomery, Alabama, and I hope to
Thank
meet you
you.
soon too.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Jeannie. And here
Okay.
comes her contact info right now.